answer to the question. And then next thing you know, we feel like we got to ask him again. I'm going to tell you what did that. Deep down inside, Balaam had a greedy spirit. Anybody got a greedy spirit? Yeah. He had a greedy spirit. And because of that, he was more concerned about accommodating Balak than he was obeying God. See, we've got to get to a point to where we recognize when folk just wasting our time. Because you got folk will rob you of your time. And they'll use the name of the Lord. Or and then they want to question you. And waste all of your time. Now, had he did what God said, he would have been gone a long time ago. So Balak told him, okay, I tell you what, let me take you over here and let's see what the Lord will say. Let's see if the Lord will allow you to curse him. And it didn't happen. He got mad at him. Well, let me take you over here, from another direction. Let me give you another angle. Now, this whole time, each time, guess what they're doing? Each time they're offering up sacrifices. Each time. They have to build an altar, offer. I mean, that was money. The man had money. Be careful, folk that come with grip and try to manipulate, entice you to do what they want. And then come over here and let me do that. See, that man wasn't concerned about what God said. He was trying to convince Balaam to just speak a word of cursing. He was trying to get his way. That's what he was trying to do. See, sometimes people, oh Lord help us today. Sometimes people, experience that. Guess what? Come into the church. And they begin to manipulate. And the first thing that they use is money. That's it. I just felt led by the Lord to give you this $1,000. And some of them will do it to make sure other people see. Or they'll get up and say, I got a testimony. The Lord just blessed me, and that's nothing but about $1,000. I just wanted to be a blessing to the church and the pastors and everything and everybody. And if you ever need anything, that you got to be careful with that spirit. You have to be careful, because the love of money is the root for all evil. You have to be careful. Now, don't be careless to where somebody come in and because that's going to happen. But it's the spirit of how it's done that you have to be careful with. And so this man wasn't concerned about Balaam speaking the word of the Lord. He was concerned about Balaam telling him giving him what he wanted. So quit trying to accommodate people. Matter of fact, some of you might need to get your number changed. Because there is a nice way, but to tell people, right now, God is doing something in my life, and I'd appreciate, just for a season, I'll let you know. Don't call me. Now, how would you do that? Because you realize now you've gone to another level. You have outgrown where you are. And so sometimes, because we have outgrown the level that we just come from, we feel that we have to keep going and vacillating back and forth and accommodating those that are on this level. And God is saying, you better cut it. You better cut it. You better cut it before it cut you. Quit accommodating people. Guess what? Let me go here. Quit accommodating family members.
That's it.
I know. I know you folk on YouTube probably going to send me some bad messages, but that's okay. I love the Lord and love you too. Quit accommodating even family members that you find wasting all your time. Here you are, you're committed to, I'm going to pray, I'm going to consecrate, I got my little plan and this, that, and the other, and all of a sudden, because they ain't praying. Isn't that something? People that never pray always got a word from the Lord. I ain't figured that out yet. Until I read this right here. Those are lying spirits. That's what it is. God haven't said anything. That is their own bellies that's speaking. Because some folk try to come to you and prophesy to you when they know your business. Oh, come on. Like, wait a minute, and they'll jerk on you. Ooh. Oh, I hear them. You better moonwalk backwards. Now, there's a way to do things without just being blatantly just indignant. You want to keep your dignity. You want to keep your integrity. You want to, whatever you do, you want to do it with integrity. Even though it might not feel good. Because I'm gonna tell some of you that understand this, when you got promoted on your job, how many folk hated you? When you got that raise, when you got that position that they felt that they should have got, or felt that you shouldn't have got it, whether they got it or not, how many came to your cubicle after that? How many took you to lunch, asked you to go to lunch, or when you asked them, what are you going to eat? I ain't going nowhere today. And then they got in the car and drove off. I'm going to tell you what that is. That's God's way of saying to you, I've called you higher. That's not his way of saying to you that you are better than them. That's his way of saying to you that he's called you to another level. And you've got to separate yourself. You got to separate yourself. Because if not, that thing that came to promote you can demote you.
That's it.
Yeah. I'm going to give an example. There was a guy on the job 8 months before it happened. And I was just a regular worker. I was programming, machines at the time. And my supervisor, we had a pretty good relationship, and he was a guy, he was struggling in his Christianity and everything, and I was there for him as a friend, like friends are supposed to be. Yeah. And there were some things that, God was showing me that I said, God, I'm not going to say anything unless you open the door. I'm just going to cover him in prayer. God opened the door, and I shared some things with him. Okay, he didn't take it very well, but eventually, he realized that, he didn't mean any harm. He just, he's my friend. 8 months later, because he refused to hear not a word from Ray. Yeah. See, we got to be careful with that. Not a word from God. That word wasn't from me. Yeah. That word was from God. And because he refused to heed the word of the Lord, he got demoted. When he should have been promoted. They took money, they took position, and you're talking about shame? See, the enemy, and it's just a setup. Because once you experience something like that, you feel like there is no hope. You'll give up. And the position that they moved him from, 6 months later, they put me in. Boy, that just opened up another can of worms. So I know what it feels like to be promoted and hated. Because they go hand in hand. But you have to understand and know how to manage that promotion that God has just called you to. Because if you get arrogant, if you get prideful, if you get beside yourself, guess what? That thing that came to help you advance further in living an abundant life will almost seem to depart you. Anybody believe that? I don't know why I released that, but God does. Give him a praise. Amen.